Have you communicated with a social media user who goes by the name ThATuMBRELLAgUY?
I've had several phone calls with the person who goes by the name ThATuMBRELLAgUY. I don't actually know his real name.
And unfortunately, every time I make a call, it becomes content for them idiots.
Help! I've been tossed overboard.
I'll have to bill you extra for my time.
Welcome to the show. You look incredible, like a dessert that owns a yacht.
That's exactly the vibe I was going for. You know, sweet but slightly out of your tax bracket.
Mission accomplished. How does one even shop for a suit when your head is...
Gold on my neck, gold on my hand, purple with the stripes, that's the walk of a man. Sidewalk shining, city lights humming, every step I take, they know a boss is coming.
Blazing the whip, gotta vanquish the needs. My kingdom for some poppy seeds. Yo, yo.
Is that a poppy seed? You realize I'm your P.O., right? Straight to booking!
Police or zombie problems? Your tortoise won't stop breakdancing?
Try blue tape.
The miracle of our age. Yay!
Thought your lies were solid. To the cracks, let daylight in. Thought you were ballin'. Till the pay piggy stopped hitting sin. You thought everyone was sleeping while you creeping that stash. Figured you was solid in those wallets skimming that cash. 56,000 dropped by one donor. And when asked, you said me, I'm the owner. That's fraud. You ain't fit for Denny's, ma'am, drive through. Whole timelines clocking your crew. Receipts on deck, let's count the ways. A bench, a barn, a fence, a verbal maze. You pretend to help like you're right, but all you do is out of spite. Now the world sees you and you're stressing. All those blue lights got you guessing. No, not all monsters are fairy tales. Some set online broadcasting fails, and that's you. One day soon, no more pretend. And when it does, the thieving ends, hopefully behind bars. You broadcast good deeds for the clout and the likes, but that umbrella guy pulled up with the mic and the spikes. Means hitting harder than your fake ass fence. Every donor screenshot got you playing defense. You said better life for the kid, straight face, no shame. Now the kid's still waiting and you still in the game. Timeline flip, pitchforks in the chat. You stressing in the DMs, deleting this and that. Then you drive through, too rich for your kind. Now you're running from the comments, losing your mind. You thought the internet would forget? Now we got receipts. Every dollar you flipped, every lie you delete. Barn never built, bench never laid. Fence still missing, kids still in the shade. That umbrella guy live, calling you out by name. Memes circulating faster than your shame. You stole from the kind, from the ones who believe. Now karma got heavy bass. She about to leave, no more pretend. The thieving got an end, behind bars or broke. Either way you decide, now the whole world knows. Daylight in, hey Biggie, stop sending that umbrella guy.
What's up, folks? How's it going today? Apologies, it took me a minute to get in here today. You know, beyond the, you know how the 15 minutes works, but beyond that, that was actually a mistake. I hope everybody's having a great weekend, or kick into the weekend, I guess I should say. It is definitely been a crazy lead into it. In fact, man, I got some interesting news for you today. I'm going to tell you about in just a few minutes. But also on top of that, Lord, I've been on a redaction kick, and I'm telling you, I'm not stunned by the amount of crap that came up yesterday, but it's definitely something. It's definitely something. To say there were a lot of filings that went into yesterday is really underselling the idea that there were a lot of filings. I mean, I was like, holy crap. When I got into the redaction portion, yeah, that that's when it starts getting really crazy. You know, I knew there were a bunch of add-ons with old paint chips, but my Lord, there are a lot. In fact, there are a couple I'm still having to go through and make sure that I blotted everything out on. I mean, I was stunned by the amount of them. Like I said, it's quite insane. Yesterday, you know, we talked about the filings via paint chips. Well, the filing that we read, it wasn't by itself, let's just say. There were, there are always exhibits with items, but the just sheer amount of filings and exhibits, it's overwhelming sometimes. And I think that's the point in it. But I can only imagine, like, as a judge, I mean, this kind of stuff, this is the epitome of pissing a judge off, you know, because essentially what he's done here is he's decided to argue points that, well, you would think they'd already been decided. You know, when the judge is like, I don't know, for example, if the judge told you, hey, you can't go in and file extra filings every time, or extra filings this time, you would assume a judge probably doesn't want you to do that over and over and over and over again, right? Every time. Not paint chip. Oh no, not that guy. He assumes, yeah, I'm going to push it as far as I can. And now, ultimately, that's a judge's fault. Just to be honest, you let a clown show like this take over your entire court, and it will take over your court. But look at this. I'm going to really stress this idea. Check this out. I want to show you something real quick. Look at this. This is absolute insanity. So when you go and you look at the amount of, look at this. So these are the filings. Look, here's going by number. This is 215, 215-1, 215-2, 215-3, 215-4, 215-5, 215-6. These are separate filings. 215-7, 215-8, 216, 217, 217-1, 217-2. This is just what hit the docket yesterday. Just to kind of clarify that point. So when I say that the judge, he made a decision on something. And when he did, he was pretty clear. And like I said, the idea that he doesn't want you filing over and over and over. And yet they argue the same damn thing again and again. I mean, he papered this. And we're going to look at what's here. Some of it is amusing as hell. Like last night, we started talking. If you missed last night, holy crap, you missed a good display. Why? Because not only did you see paint chips and all of it stupid, where he's essentially saying, hey, I'm broke. I'm stupid. People call me paint chips. So therefore, while I don't admit that, well, they think that I'm mentally damaged enough that they think I eat paint chips, therefore. I mean, it's an amazing argument. It's so funny to look at. But what was amazing last night wasn't just that. It was the fact that he and his love interest there, they had a mighty fine falling out about it. They got into a lovely argument yet again, where the two of them, you can tell that that Volman is not amused. He's not amused at all. And I think that's hilarious, just to be honest. I mean, honestly, it's going to get crazier from here. It is. It's not going to slow down. It's just going to keep getting crazier. So y'all want to hear something kind of wild? You want to hear a really interesting thing that is going to happen? You want some lovely news? Let me grab a water. I got water over here. I left it across the room. Just give me a second. But I got something for you. I got something real fun times for y'all. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I got to put my headphones back on. Yeah, so I got something real fun for you next week. It's going to take me, well, I've got to coordinate schedules, I guess is the best way to put it together. So we'll make it work out, but it's got to all come together with it. There we go. I couldn't see the freaking chat for a minute there. It was being stupid. All right. So, boy, you said that. Indeed. There's so much of this stupid here. So, with all the stuff that's been going on with Preston, you know, she's decided that she's going to go gung-ho and attack. She's been attacking family members again, right? She's been doing it for the last couple of weeks, really. In fact, this weekend, we will catch up the videos where they discuss that. But next Friday, I'm going to have a special guest on. I want to begin hyping this and hyping it big because it's not just, it's where the schedules, they would only correspond on that specific day. So that's a perfect day for it too. So on that day, we are going to get to talk to Miss Ashley, the person that they keep trying to bury there, the one that they keep trying to intimidate, the person that has had 2 years now to really reflect on themselves, but also, you know, to have a while, a bit of clarity. And we've also been given insight into what these people are afraid of. Preston and Cook, they're not just afraid of like Ashley, but they're afraid of a specific thing with Ashley. They are afraid of her talking about a specific case. That's why they're so intent on trying to control the narrative about it. And I personally think that's really interesting. So it would be something that, well, that person can tell us so much about it. Won't that be an interesting one? Yeah. Looking forward to asking. Exactly. I think that's a big one. That is a really big one. Because again, Michelle Preston has done everything in her power to try to intimidate and to try to make her walk away. But the only thing that did, again, she had already walked away and was already doing her own thing off on her own. She wasn't bothering anybody. She wasn't bothering Preston. She wasn't talking about Preston. She was just out there living her life, living her best life. And instead of letting her live her best life, she decided that she was going to come after her. So, in coming after her, again, you motivate people to talk about the very things that you don't want discussed. And I think that causes problems. Big, big problems there. Looking forward to Monday's guest too. Oh yeah, I think that'll be fun as well. I think there's gonna be a lot of fun times that are kicking up. Man, do me a favor. Even if you're lurking, say hi or number or whatever. I'm curious because the system's all over the place tonight. It was logging 1,300 people, then it logged 15, then it went back to 1,350, and now it's over 15 again. Oh, it's being weird. So if you want to say hi, I think that would be cool. I also found something else today I thought would be fun. I'm going to show it to you now. Give me 1 second here. Thank you, folks, for doing that too. I'm curious how, it'll go crazy in the chat for just a minute. So apologies to anybody if you were talking to somebody and I just nuked it there. That wasn't my intention. But I did want to kind of see what's up with that. Okay, so if you remember back a little ways, right now, I guess this is a better way of doing this. Right now, in the last day, we've had Leslie Federico's and the little gang over there. They have decided that they're going full tilt. Last night, if you are not aware of this, I'm not sure if you've heard anything on this or not today. Last night, 2L decided they were going to read over Randy Shockett's answers to their bar complaints. And while they were doing that, you have these people openly bragging about how they're filing more and more and more. In fact, you can get the feeling from just looking at comments like this, who exactly is pulling the strings? You have Legally Leslie out there saying, oh, there are many other bar complaints pending against Shockett too. More coming. Yeah, you can see them openly pushing this. And, it's pretty stupid when you think about it. You have this person publicly plotting their false bar complaints. They've been talking about FBI complaints, false IRS complaints, and more while being sued. Like, she's ringleading this. She's absolutely, you can just see from her comments, she's ringleading this. And this, well, it shows you not only exactly who a person is, but what they're doing. I mean, they're not hiding it. They're showing it openly. Well, while I went out today, I saw something, and it reminded me of a little chapter of this, and I thought I would share it with you. You remember the Treehouse of Love? I don't know how many of you actually remember that wonderful chapter and everything, where Leslie, she was writing one Jeremy Hales, and she was telling him how she wanted to how do I put this? She wanted to move away to a tree house, so the two of them, they could be happy together forever. Well, I saw this today. This wonderful, it's a metal sign. Isn't it lovely? This is where I go to cry. Isn't that beautiful there? An all-new Chronicle of Sadness adventure. I found this as a metal sign. So I thought it was kind of funny. Because if you don't remember the whole thing about that, just to know, Leslie Verderigos was writing Jeremy Hales. Now, she says now that it was totally all set up. I hate to tell you, man. You go back and you read some of that. It wasn't a setup. It was these. That's a save face tactic. And it's really funny how desperately they cling to it. What really amuses me in that is how much these folks can't trust each other. You know, you imagine it. If you had a friend and that friend, they kept turning on you, even if they came back because they had been rejected, you never trust them for real. So these people play at trust, but they also know every one of them would turn on each other if they got the chance. So it's kind of beautiful to see. But in part of that, you had Leslie who was talking about, you know, she wanted to ditch her man and move off to a treehouse in the middle of nothing with Jeremy Hales. And she probably got really butthurt because Jeremy shattered her dreams. So I thought that this was a beautiful way to commemorate that. In fact, I have thought about giving it away. I thought it might be fun. I thought, I'm not sure how I want to give that away yet, but I'm thinking about giving it away to some lucky person there. You too can have a metal sign talking about where you going to cry with your treehouse of love and shame. Doesn't that sound like fun? Yeah, she had the hots for you. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. She absolutely did. You could see that from the messages, you know, and there were messages again. There were very explicit ones apparently. And those, I'm not sure about like how they're kept, you know, I don't know how that works with sharing with your lawyer or anything else, but I know I didn't go to other people. Nobody else wanted to see any of that. I saw messages where it kept me apprised of the things that these people were doing. You know, I definitely was in the loop on stuff. In fact, there were certain things like the traveling video, you know, where they actually, it's funny, right when she started writing, one of the suggestions right away was, hey, you need to make a video that captures the metadata saying what you're doing right now, saying that people are writing or doing this or that, because they're going to come back and they're going to falsely accuse you of something. Absolutely. So you need to make a video beforehand. It won't matter because they will spin it and they'll say it won't matter. Like, metadata doesn't matter. The metadata isn't about them. It's for lawsuits. You put that together and you do it again to catalog and to show that, hey, this wasn't something that like they want to spin it. It's kind of funny, but you have to treat false accusers a specific way. But what you could tell from that, my point in saying all that is you could tell that, oh, she would have been more than happy to run off to her treehouse together and ditch old Michael off in the woods. You know, I mean, it's gotta be a crazy way to live when you know that somebody that you're around hates you. I mean, just will profess that to anyone that they hate you, and they make songs about it. I mean, you know, like all these people are absolutely hilarious in that because they pretend that they aren't like that, like they don't hate each other, and yet at the same time, well, I think you've seen the evidence. Man, I got to go back and I've got to pull out those treehouse things again. God, that was funnier than I do need to go back and pull those up. Those were my favorite thing. I've had some pretty entertaining stuff go on, but that was by far one of my favorite things. The treehouse of love. Those texts were amazing. And yeah, I expected insanity after those came up because, oh my God. And they're amazing. You should have you should have seen those come up like real time. 'Cause, like I said, I knew about the treehouse thing, and those cracked me up so much. I was like, oh my God, this is real. How far can this go? So a lot of that vindictive and pettiness is about paying Jeremy Hills back, I'm sure, about all of that. Oh God. P.T. Barnum called from the grave. He wants his circus back. Indeed. But I'm going to figure out sometime this week. I think I'm going to give the metal sign away. You guys like that idea? It's a little sign. Like it's one of those little bitty metal things that you can just hang around the house. And unlike some giveaways, I'll just give it away. I know some people are like, yeah, you got to pay the postage and hand. No. If I, when I give something away, I'll just give it away. We'll do it in a stream. I don't know which one yet. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll do it this weekend, one of the days. I'm just not sure which day. I also have a little sexy toast thing I was thinking about giving away. Just because I think that would be fun. Every week, maybe we should do something like that. So let's look at some filings. I think you guys, you will enjoy these filings are amazing. Typically, like Megan hates reading any of this guy's filings, right? And most of you, I realize, like I go through them because, to be honest, I enjoy them. I do. I think they're crazy. They are the right amount of crazy. But under these, even Megan was like, these are hilarious. This is so bad. Because again, like for example, here's the perfect example of what I mean. All right. He's talking about, and he has a declaration. He always puts a declaration from himself in his filings. He has to have some pomposity to it. Well, in there, for example, in his own filings, in his own declaration, he's like, Paint of Jeremy Hales. He's repeatedly referred to me as paint chips. My understanding is the nickname is intended to suggest I have brain damage from eating lead paint, and at times to imply that I continue to do so. Now, he absolutely knows what's said about, because he wrote an article decrying the fact that he does not eat lead paint chips. Oh my God. To make filings like this is just wild. Oh my God. This whole series of them, but there's essentially three things that came up, right? You have, just to make this clear, all right, you have three main filings. The main filings go, again, he wants a procedural accommodation. The thing that he's been trying to do repeatedly through this is to get electronic filing. You in the federal court are not allowed to have it unless you're a lawyer. Now, I've gone on the record. I've said this many times. I don't agree with that. I think that you should get that no matter what. So I hate to say, but in those ways, I do agree with paint chips. Absolutely. You and I, if we go and we represent ourselves, we should 100% be able to do whatever. We should be able to do anything that a lawyer does. So I actually do. And if you were talking about state court, you'd be able to do that. So, it's the rub there. But rules are rules. You're not allowed to do that. So he's trying to work around. But in his workaround, too, he's also trying to say that he shouldn't just get that. He should also have special accommodations. And these special accommodations should mean that he can't be sanctioned, that no other problems, like anything that comes up, if he gets in trouble, he should get a do-over. It's such an absurd idea. It reminds me, there was a Spanish teacher that I had. And the Spanish teacher, he would take the kids that they had accommodations, and he would essentially let them he'd let them take a test 5 or 6 times, and it would be the same test. You know, like, so people would try to get accommodation in his class because even if they didn't need it, if they could talk their way into it, because essentially, if you took the test, you could take it again and again. So of course you could ace it just by, you wouldn't have to do anything. All you'd have to do is go take the test. They were multiple choice tests, by the way. You'd have to look at it, what you missed, and just memorize the pattern to it. There are like 20 questions. You could just memorize it or whatever. He'd let you sit down and look at it. So people would, at first he was a little bit more guarded, but as it went on, he would allow that. And again, you could see how that would create misuse. Well, that's the same thing here. He wants an advantage that the other side doesn't have, you know, and he wants it. What's especially gross about this, by the way, is the fact that the judge that he quotes talking about him is the judge that was sentencing him to 4 years because of all the heinous acts that he had been involved in. That's the little thing that the ecosystem doesn't seem to mind. You know, when he was bragging about all of this, and he was saying that that a judge had called him, rather that he had been tested as bipolar and had been discussed his mental illness in a courtroom. Yeah, the reason that came up at all is because he ran an international scam. He put a blind man in control. These are the same people that talk about guardianships, by the way. And yeah, he did some pretty awful shit. Some pretty damn awful stuff. And he thinks you should be rewarded for it. That's the problem. We do reward people for it too. Because we don't just say, hey man, these are terrible people. What we say is, oh, that person right there, they're so bad, there must be something wrong, diagnosable, you know, and that's this weird catch-22. Because it may not let them out of trouble there, but later on, oh, they may be living off your dime. They may be getting some kind of accommodation, and it's all because they were a twisted piece of garbage. So so you have this, and you again have all of these wonderful filings that come attached to it, which we'll look at with that, because we have not looked at all the attachments to it, because there are a bunch of them. But on top of that, we also have some wonderful emails that I think are pretty indicative of who we're dealing with. We also have 216. So that was 215. 215 with all of its allure. On top of it, you have 216. Now, 216 here is talking about how essentially he wants corrected certificates of service and to reset effective deadlines. He's like, I didn't get the right service. I didn't get the right the certificate of service. Therefore, the deadlines that had to do with me, I need them reset. That's something to look at there. And also, the interesting thing with his emails is they're just like some of these other clowns' emails too. And I think they say a lot. And which one? Wait. Is it? Oh, it's 217. Oh, my bad. I gotta roll this one back. I'm sorry about that. And then this one is the one where he's again arguing. Okay, so the judge early on, as you remember before, the judge told him, yo, you don't get to answer again and again and again and again and again, you know, because that's what he wants. He wants to basically have the last word, which is funny because Volmet loves in emails when he's getting owned in an email exchange. What he likes to do is be like, well, you know, since narcissist has to have the last word, I know that you'll answer. Therefore, right? Well, Paint Chips really is that thing. He has to have the last word. So he always wants to file more. And this This is a new display of the exact same thing that we saw. And again, this is not going to make this judge happy at all. They're setting out publicly bragging that they're trying to piss this judge off. They're trying to show him that the things are a circus. And it's like, yeah, there's a big difference in showing someone that something's out of control and being the person that causes things to go out of control. You know what I mean? When you do that, it's not the smartest thing to do. They brag about how they're again trying to annoy. I don't think I would want to do that. There are many things that I think, yeah, that's a good idea. This is not one of them. But again, this is the thing that the judge said no to before. So essentially what Paint Chips is telling you is every time that this comes up, every single time, he's going to do it again and again. Volmet actually had a point last night, which was funny. If you missed them arguing with one another, it was actually very entertaining too. We went over that. It's over on the Rumbails. But the beautiful thing about that was the fact, not that just that they were arguing about items, but that through it, his point was, so the judge said something about you didn't like, so you got to throw it in his face. In Volmet, it's like, this isn't smart. What do you think you're doing here? This is not a smart way to play. And Paint Chips is like, yeah, it is. It is. It's smart. I'm the smartest person in the room, therefore. And yeah, I think it's a good way to cause himself problems. So let's look at a few of these. Now, yesterday, we looked at this document. So I am not going to touch on this entire document here, but I do want you to understand what the argument was just in case. So 215, again, for those playing 215, 15-page document. This is, again, him playing the I need reasonable accommodations. Reasonable accommodations, they include him getting access to electronic filing. That he's been complaining about that forever. So he wants that so bad. He wants it so much. And the reason he's saying that he should have it is because the judge said he was, quote unquote, detached from reality. When he was accusing his staff of being in a conspiracy with Jeremy Hales and Randy Shockett. Absolutely. Levels. But again, there's an easy way to fix this. That easy way to fix it would be to, I don't know, hire a lawyer, but what do I know? He also, again, he doesn't just want that though. When you look through his requests, what he's saying is that he wants liberal construction of defendants' pro se filings. He wants additional time where appropriate. So he should be able to, if there are deadlines, he can't handle deadlines. So he should get additional time that no one else could, because that's going to be a reasonable accommodation that the rules don't apply to Paint Chips, right? On top of that, he wants electronic service. He wants this one, really, number 4, clear notice of procedural defects and a meaningful opportunity to cure them before waiver, forfeiture, dismissal, contempt, or sanctions are imposed. So if there's a problem in what he's done, there's a procedural defect. Now, when you think about it, when he's talking about a procedural defect that would go to the point that he would be sanctioned over it, that would be a pretty big deal, right? And he's saying, essentially, before you can sanction me, I should get a do-over. I mean, imagine that. This is the guy that tells the court again that somebody's an animal effer, that after he said that, he asks for a second go at it by doing it again. And, again, this, it's his fault for doing certain things, but it's the court's fault for allowing him to do these things. They should have shut him down a long time ago. They could have put their foot down. They could have said, hell to the no. If you keep doing this crap, we told you no, and yet you keep doing it. We're going to sanction you, and we're going to sanction you hard. We're going to do something about it. That would have been a way to handle this stuff, but they didn't. They still haven't. So he's going to continue to push. 1 second. Yes, ma'am.
I'm having so much fun with my stomach game. I just wrote it down.
I can't understand you, baby.
What?
I cannot understand what you're saying.
I said that I'm having so much fun with my Sonic game.
Cool. Well, go play with it. Go have fun with it. Okay?
It's right here.
Yeah, somebody got a Sonic game today,
Yes,
didn't you?
no, and I've been doing great with it.
Yeah.
It's been telling me what to do with the little letters. You know what I mean? Like the little letters that have like L, Z, L.
Yeah, you saved up. You saved up your. You worked hard, right? You were helping clean and do all kinds of stuff.
B, X, that. And it's literally helping me so much with this stuff.
Yeah, that's true. But you saved up your own money to get that, didn't you?
What are you looking at?
I was looking at different games on here.
For yourself?
But yeah, didn't you? You saved up your own money to get it, didn't
You have that tail switch too?
You're not going to tell people about it?
Yes, I go out to turn the noise off real quick. Sorry.
No, you're going to have to go upstairs in just a second. I got to continue with this, but you can say hey for a minute.
Hey, everyone. My dad bought me some playtime games too. Dad's looking at some games for his tail switch.
Yep, I was looking at stuff for that
There's
too.
a backwards game.
Yeah, but you helped out cleaning.
Yeah, and I had to do something for my dad.
Yeah, how did you get that $10? You want to tell about you guys?
I had to adore my sister.
Adore his sister. So Big Sissy was in a bad mood today, and I thought it would be funny, because she was just in a funk. And I thought it would be, it always gets her out of a funk. So I was like, hey, I told the little one here, I was like, you want to earn $10? Annoy your sister for 5 minutes.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. I've seen a lot of games on YouTube for real.
Okay.
And I've seen you look at the backwards game. I wonder if there's any for my tail switch. I'm just wondering.
I don't know. We'll talk about it later, though, okay?
Yeah, can we look it up on my tail switch?
We will look it up. Yeah, we will look it up. But hey, go upstairs. Go have fun.
Okay.
All right. Love you. Close the door there, too. All right. Thank you. It was so funny, though. She was like, yeah, but it's hard having a bad day. It is, so but with her sister, it's funny. Like I said, she was just not in a good mood. She was really irritated today, and it'll put her in a better mood when her sissy's like running around dancing, just trying to get her involved and stuff. So by the end of her time, she was smiling, cracking up. So it's pretty good. There's a pretty good cost of just a few bucks there. Yeah, Max Lab. Yeah, I sent Hale. I haven't even read that yet. The 50K. I'm not surprised. I figured it'd be about 30K. So, I figured they would ask for around 30. 50 seems high. Actually seems high. I mean, when you think about, because that doesn't seem like reasonable attorney fees. When they got to the point where that's the thing, one person there will potentially end up with attorney fees from the earlier Fed 2 stuff. And I haven't looked at it. I'm not saying that it's not reasonable, but that sounds like a lot. $50,000, and they didn't even get past that certain point. He only filed a like what, 3 filings or so. That does not seem like reasonable attorney fees. It sounds like a shakedown. But, lawyers are a shakedown anyway, man. I mean, and I don't mean that in a shot at I'm just saying, like, there should be no system where you and I cannot we're supposed to be able to defend ourselves easily. We shouldn't need a professional at something to defend ourselves. We shouldn't have to pay somebody tens of thousands of dollars. If somebody wrongs us, we should be able to go in and get this shit sorted. You shouldn't take a specialist on it. But 50 grand is wild. That's a wild ask for the amount of stuff that, again, when Jeremy talks about how much money like he spent on it, remember, you're talking 6 people, you're talking, 10 people and everything that got in there, all the service file, everything else. So it seems a tad, huh? But we'll see. We'll see what's there. But yeah, it's funny because he could have ended up potentially, like if these people would have just lawyered up, they would have been smart. I thought, to be honest, what I thought they were going to do with that case was something a little bit different, but they didn't do it, which is, I'm not going to mention it yet. I'll mention it when all of it's said and done. Then I'll mention it. But I do want to look at the notations for all the breakdown of it. I am curious of that. That's another problem. See, that's the thing that, we keep telling like 2L. You fuck around and you file some garbage lawsuit and people have to hire someone, you're going to have a problem. Paint Chips, for all his bluster and talk about doing that, he is a moron. But if he again, you could just absolutely demolish anything that he would bring, because he bragged live that he's not doing it for justice. He would be doing this stuff to harass people because some guy sues him, and therefore he's gonna teach everybody this guy knows or talk that thinks that this guy's a scumbag a lesson. He's gonna teach him a lesson. But yeah, anyway, so let's look at this. So he wanted, like I said, these 4 items, including and clarification that defendant is not being held to the functional standard of a licensed attorney. Now, the reason this is a funny thing, and actually Mr. Coop was the person that pointed this out, and I think it really made Paint Chips angry because in that he pointed out that there's a specific section, I suppose. Give me a second here. There's a specific section that give me a second. I'm trying to roll back to it, where he talks about being a lawyer. He kind of bragged about it at one time. And now, after he did that, he didn't seem happy that he did it. You know what I mean? It's like, wait, whoopsie. So I thought that was pretty funny. He said, quote, Luthman does not make this statement lightly. He has personal knowledge from his years as a New York lawyer of how vulnerable courthouse personnel, courthouse adjacent personnel, and document intake systems can be to improper influence, bribery, favors, political pressure, intimidation, and outside manipulation. So off of that statement right there by itself, that says, hey, I do actually have, little bit of that lawyer back when. But he's like, no, I'm not. In fact, I'm an idiot. I'm an absolute idiot. Plus, any other procedural safeguard necessary. So these were the things that he wanted in that document we laughed at. Now, again, through that, it's a very funny document. If you've not read it, you would love it. Okay, I just want to make sure of that. Now, in order to prove this, some of this it's kind of entertaining there. So you have a declaration. He always, again, like I said, he loves to listen to himself clackety clack on the keyboard. He likes to tell himself that he's going to be the smartest voice in the room, you know, and he likes to waste the court's time and anybody else's time too. But here's his statement. Now, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they don't matter. Here he's complaining about the ECFs. Again, he wants electronic filing. He's been complaining about that since the beginning. He doesn't have litigation staff. Okay. What does that matter, by the way? I mean, again, you know why you don't have litigation staff? Because you're not a lawyer anymore. Because you lost that privilege. You know, it's really funny how these people, it's funny how people that lost the privilege of being a lawyer, they prove to you time and again that what they end up doing when they after they get in trouble, they just end up trying to use that knowledge for self-enrichment, to screw over other people. You would think that wouldn't be the case, that the bar, there would be some type of safeguard in place, but there's not. There's no safeguard whatsoever to protect the public from people like this. It's wild. I mean, when you think about it, it is wild to think that these idiots, luckily, many of them are like Federico's, you know, where they're so stupid that, well, they're a danger to self when they file, and they get themselves in trouble more than they actually do themselves any favors. But some of them, you know, they become nuisance filers. They know how to take $400, and they know how to again clog a docket with something and basically try to harass people to no end. That's what these morons love to do. And it's funny, but it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. You know, they love bringing up the polymop. You know, oh my God, the polyflops. It was funny listening to Vomit accuse paint chips of polyflop. You're polyflopping. I'm not polyflopping, they're polyflopping. Oh my God, it was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I really, every time I hear that, if you have never watched Idiocracy, you really need to watch it. That is an amazing movie. It's funny. But on top of it, it just reminds me of some of these idiots. You know, because in Idiocracy, if you haven't seen it, there's a guy that he'll just say randomly, he'll say, brought to you by Carl's Jr. And so our main character, who's just an average guy, but in the future it makes him a genius because everyone's an idiot. Well, he's like, why do you keep saying that? The guy tells him, because they sponsor me, you know, and every time I say it, I get paid, duh, you know? So it reminds me of Polyflop. Are they all working off the idiocy, the Idiocracy thing where they get paid for saying it? Oh, it's so dumb. I mean, they really want to make that happen. Bruce, I wonder if Bruce will give them like a bonus or something if they actually make that work out somehow. But he's like, I have physical, mental, emotional, financial, and legal limitations. Look at all those. Physical, he's talking about, he's an ED lawyer. as we've learned. So that's his physical limitations, plus many others. Mental limitations, yeah. Being a moron is a limitation for sure. Emotional, yeah. Again, you see how we have a problem in our society where we can't just say that people are terrible fucking scumbag people. They have to have something wrong with them. They have to be diagnosable. And the insult in that is that diagnosis, it doesn't just apply to them. It applies, you see how many people fall, like he was talking about bipolar 2. Bipolar 2 made you set up a giant scam, and also on top of that, like seek out a blind man to make the fall guy of it, and threaten to hack your, I guess now ex, into pieces because you were afraid that she was narking you out to the Fed. That's bipolar 2, according to them. Interesting. It makes people, they're actually living with something and not trying to excuse terrible behavior. It makes people look at them differently. And I hate that. I hate that with all kinds of, again, you have these terrible actors. And these labels are utilized. And again, he's trying to use it for benefit because he did terrible things to people because of it, because of his quote unquote label. So now he's asking for something. He's asking for a prize, an accommodation for it. Isn't that gross? He's asking for his concession prize after spending all that time in jail. By the way, I deserve something more. So anyway, he says, he brings up his mental health history through this. This again is beautiful because of the way he tries to make these things right here work. He's trying to say that his case is just about illustrating the danger in ignoring mental health problems in practicing lawyers. This guy, again, yeah, his quote unquote mental health problem, it allowed him to go out and to plan while he was perpetrating this crime. You know, he wasn't just, he likes to brag that he worked with the mafia on it. So he worked with the mob, but that's mental illness. That's not something else. That's just mental illness, right? On top of it too, the other things that he, again, that's our justice system at work, ladies and gentlemen. The only reason he got in trouble for certain things is because he fucked around with the Fed, and the Fed doesn't like it when you mess with them. Otherwise, he may have actually gotten away, you know, the election-related stuff, for example. But anyway, you see how he's trying to spin that there. So, the statement of reasons noted that I had been diagnosed with mental health ailments. I do not cite that history to excuse any improper conduct. I cite it because it is part of the judicial record, and it bears a reasonable procedure of accommodation. So let me use the ECF. What a whiny piece of shit. Then it gets to this here. It's like plaintiff Jeremy Hales has repeatedly referred to me publicly as paint chips on YouTube. Now, my understanding is that this nickname is intended to suggest I have brain damage from eating lead paint chips, and at times to imply that I continue to do so. At times? At times? No, it's to say that you're so stupid that nothing else can explain it. It's not to say that your eating paint chips does not make you mentally ill. That's not mental illness. It's to say you're a low IQ dreg that got stupider over time because, well, the only way we can explain it is that obviously you've been eating paint chips. It's like, oh, That's them commenting on I'm a victim. Oh, all these pieces of shit have to be victims. I'm a victim because of my criminal past. Shit. What a world, man. What a world we live in. And it gets even worse I see some of the cases that come up where people use the mental health as an excuse to get them out of trouble. Man, some of the stuff that they try to use it for is crazy. But I do not adopt plaintiff's insult. I don't believe I'm an idiot. Oh my God. Oh Lord. Think about what he's saying with this though. He's saying that even I don't agree that I'm eating lead paint. But, well, Your Honor, I do need an accommodation because I'm about as stupid as somebody that eats it. Oh my God, that's amazing. Oh Lord. But his repeated public characterization of me is cognitively impaired. Oh my God. Let me ask ChatGPT something. I want to know what it is to say there. Okay. Let's see. ChatGPT. Let's see. Some that eats paint chips. Stupid. One second. I'm telling it. I'm asking it. Is it just stupidity or is it mental illness there? Okay, so give it a second. I had to pull it up on my phone, so it makes it a little slower. Oh my God! It said eating paint chips isn't a personality type. At some point, bad decision is still a category. He said, some people here, he ate paint chips and immediately go, well, you got to respect my diagnosis. No, sometimes the diagnosis is just, that was spectacularly dumb. Also, here's a wonderful one. Not every bad idea needs a medical exemption. Sometimes someone doing something so profoundly ridiculous that it defies explanation. It isn't a disorder. It's just a terrible idea. They're just a moron, But apparently, we're one step away from calling licked a stop sign a protected medical condition. I mean, that's the level we've gotten to. Oh my Lord. Think about all the people that you've known over time and all those people that have done just idiot things. I knew kids that would do ridiculous stuff, gross, ridiculous things. And paint chips is suggesting that all that behavior, it points to mental illness. No, maybe you're just an idiot. Maybe that's what it is. But plaintiff chose to sue the person he betrayed as mentally impaired. Again, that's supposed to get him out of, as he knows, courts found him liable for his behavior. So he can't play he said, remember here, it's beautiful because he said that he doesn't cite that history to excuse any improper conduct. But then here he's like, oh, he sued me, but I'm mentally ill. Oh my gosh. I bet. Oh my Lord. Oh, what an idiot. Plaintiff should not then demand that I be treated as though I were a licensed attorney with unimpaired judgment. Like I have full ECF access and I have a staff in professional litigation capacity. I don't think he sued you because you're an absolute moron. I think he sued you because you're a piece of shit as well as an absolute moron. I think that's the portion they got to suing you. On June 15th, again, the court stated that one of his assertions was detached from reality. He again doesn't concede that, by the way. He says that there's a conspiracy. And in fact, the conspiracy, you had Georgie and Mr. Coop. They discussed it one time. And that means that it's real. Dun, dun, dun. What an idiot. You know what's funny, too? Do you realize how much digging that they had to do to find this one piece of ridiculousness? Do you realize how much work it probably cost them to go in to find that? Isn't that funny? It's how desperate they are. They hang on every single word from people, especially like they said, Mr. Coop is irrelevant, right? Mr. Coop is absolutely irrelevant according to them. And yet Mr. Coop at the same time, he lords over their thinking process. Isn't that fun? You know? Okay. So here's their discussion of what that was. Again, I think this is funny because if he was wanting an accommodation, why put this in, Paint Chips? If you want your accommodation, why didn't you lean into the fact that you were just a mental ill lunatic? You'd have been more likely. It's like his ego won't let him lean into the thing that he's trying to do, which is hilarious, you know? But that's essentially what this is. It's so crazy, too. I never thought I would see some type of filing where, again, you know, this hurts him, by the way, because he's saying that these folks are part of the Hale's verse, right? Well, on top of that, he also implied that the judicial staff was part of the Hale's verse. He was saying that he knows how corruption's there because, again, he was a piece of shit when he practiced law. So therefore, he knows how corruption works, right? So, oh, what a crazy person. Anyway, so that gives you a feel for, that is 215.1. All right, 215.2. These are our exhibit list. This is what is going to be attached. Well, let me make sure of something real fast. Let me just make sure that, okay. I figured it had a mailer behind it. I want to make sure that if I roll to the mailer on accident, that I'm not showcasing anybody's email address, or not email, but physical address. By the way, I noticed that the Fats did not redact anything again. You have to redact physical addresses. Especially, they keep flagging people for it, but they didn't redact. I saw some screenshots, and they had unredacted physical addresses. Got to redact those things. You end up getting a hit for that otherwise. Shouldn't be stupid in that. You know, meanwhile, it's funny because while they're doing this and they're playing I'm poor and I'm harassed. Last night's show was about sending in fake bar complaints. And they're going to send more and more and more. What a bunch of idiots. But this is their stuff on it there, okay? So this is email. Now, I like some of these emails because they give me a second. He's emailing another attorney telling them, look, they call me Paint Chips. Now, what I like about this is he will demand conferences by the close of business, right? Say here, June 17th, 2026, by the end of business. Now look, he wrote, this tells you what kind of a duplicitous piece of garbage he is too. He will write at the very end of the day. He will write at 11:40 p.m. and demand that we have meet and confer the following day, or else the following. So there is no, when you come into the office, again, there is no time to do anything. If this person, typically, that's not good faith. Good faith, you allow people, again, it's the same garbage that Lips pulls. It's the same garbage that Preston pull. All these people, they all pull it, either through their lawyers, or they pull it themselves, as their pros say, but they don't leave any time for meet and confer. Again, you imagine, I'm like, if you want to have a conference, well, we need to have a conference tomorrow, but I write you almost at midnight. So you're not going to find out about it until the next day. And it leaves absolutely no time. You may not even be into your office. I realize, like a lawyer, an ex-lawyer who has nothing but time on their hands, well, they can play this because, again, what else do they do in life? They do this. This is it. But most people have more in their lives than this, They don't have the time that a paint chips does. So you and I, we typically have problems with that. And I'm sure like a Randy would have problems. I don't know, even if he wanted to. Again, calling this reasonable is crazy. Calling this good faith is absolutely nuts. But like I said, I'm not surprised by it at all. That's the one thing I love about that. He does this twice in here. So if you're like, hey, maybe that's a mistake. Oh no, this is a common tactic. You can see he tells them so the next day, if you don't get it done the next day, all right. Well, he did this again. We'll come back to these documents for our flow, but he did this again with 217. You can see that he actually does it even later in this next document. I want to make sure I got the right one. But you can see he does it even later with this one. See right here, he pulls that, but he pulls it at 11:50. So 11:50 day. And say if you go through here, you can see that he throws in by the close of business tomorrow. So again, you're not even really, when you're talking business hours, because the close of business, not a whole day, close of business. So he writes you outside of business hours to make sure that you, really by the time you get in, you don't even have an entire business day to schedule and do something. Like he said, that is the epitome of bad faith. But here he does it yet again. So again, this is common in dealing with paint chips, in dealing with any of them. Again, I thought that was really telling because I pointed that out with Lips in one of her filings. Well, here she is here they are yet again doing it too. So let's go back to that. It's just so nasty. All of it's nasty though. Now, as far as all of this is concerned too, look, he's writing and telling Shock, he's like, I'm gonna ask for additional time and liberal construction, my electronic filing, and if I get in trouble, I should be able to cure defects before I get in trouble, and everything else, stuff that you can't have. If you got a problem, we need to confer in this, and I'm going to give you I'm going to give you less than 8 hours to note that. That is, again, Has something in it. Oh, Lord, Lord, Lord. Now, again, he's quoting the thing that really made him mad. He put in here, when he's quoting the judge, saying the judge said that he was detached from reality. That's this. This is what Vomit was saying. Man, maybe you shouldn't declare war on a judge. Maybe that's a dumb thing. He put this into the exhibits there. You see it here. And it's funny how this comes up because what he did, again, Paint Chips files objections. He files document 207 to the judge's non-dispositive order, the 204, which denied leave to file it. So he was like, let me file more, judge. And the judge was like, no, no, can't do that. Now he files even more, like another thing where he accuses the court of being involved in this conspiracy with Hales and Shockett. And you're like, oh, Mr. Luther, listen to this. This is so funny. He has to put in it getting owned. The judge owning him because otherwise he can't whine. Mr. Luthman has now filed additional objections, ECF number 209, that include a baseless suggestion. The clerk's office mishandled the original objections. Perhaps the new objections suggest because opposing parties infiltrated the clerk's office or perhaps bribed clerk's office employees. This assertion is detached from reality. The new objections change nothing. The magistrate judge's June 2nd order and my June 11th order were correct. It's ordered, overruled, so ordered. So this is what he is so butthurt about. He's so butthurt he had to file something else. See, really his ego cannot stand that the judge called him out. That's really what all this is about. So he has to try to one-up the judge. It's the same shit that Bruce suffers from. They cannot have somebody tell them no. These mofos, they cannot understand no means no. They don't get it. They won't be told no. It's like, I will not be denied. Holy crap. At least it's stupid. I do, like I said, I enjoy the shit show of it. I absolutely do. But I'm sure as a judge, the judge has to be sitting there thinking, okay, they also don't pick their battles. One of the things that you should do in these types of cases is you pick and choose, where you're going to fight. You don't want to fight the judge at every front. Like I said, I think it's crazy because Vomit tells him this stuff. Vomit is like, dude, you don't need to be doing this. This is stupid on your part. And all these people jump on Vomit. I'm telling you, Vomit would be out right now. He would be called a flipper. And they would be burning him to the ground if he wasn't partnered up with Paint Chips. They would have absolutely gone after him, and they would have burned him down for being with Jeremy Hill somehow in league. Because, how dare he question him? That's how they work. And they do it to everyone else. It's just right now he has value because he's connected there. But like Megan said last night, his response, she was like, I don't think they're getting paid, because if there was money here, that he wouldn't be so grr, which I could actually see that, Paint Chips. It's like he wants to take a situation and potentially make it Much worse for himself. We'll see. We'll see what happens with it. But it could really backfire. So he puts in his entire, now this was amazing. If you guys have never seen this, folks, all right, I wished, look, all you antis out there, by the way, I know some of you listen, this is where he was convicted. He put in his conviction. It talks about some of the awful shit that he did. The offenses, what he did, how he his crimes absurd, bizarre, and ruthless. You mean, not only he abused his status as a lawyer and conspired to commit fraud and extortion. He, together with others, devised a scheme to defraud export companies, which almost caused an international incident. Almost caused fuckery at a level that you and we could have been impacted by it. But hey, nobody was harmed. And again, when you go through all the charging document, you should look at the charging document too, because the charging document tells you that as a fall guy, there was a guy that needed help. He was in a guardianship. They've talked about guardianships, right? There was a guy in a guardianship, a blind guy. He wanted to get out of it. So they bring him in, and instead of getting him out of it, they make him the patsy, the face of this scam here. So when it collapses initially, that guy looks like the guy that was actually in charge of it. I don't know how, but then again, I got pointed out yet another one of these antis has a pretty jacked up record. There's another one out there. Oh, it's just crazy. But he put this in here, and it talks about all of the insanity. Again, none of these people care. Here, look, this is right here. See it? The conspirators also began using aliases when interacting with customers, recruited a blind person under the care of a guardian ad litem to be nominal president of the company, laundered proceeds of the transactions through various banks. Luthman suggested using the blind person as nominal president because his mental disability precluded his being sued. He also used him as a pansy, like I said. So he would be the guy that would eat it first. I mean, it's a guy who approached him for help, and he used and abused them. But none of these people think that actually falls back on them either. I mean, these are the people that they've decided are their fucking are their moral guides. And calling this other person, and maybe, just maybe, they should look at the garbage that is collected around them. What do I know, though, right? Anyway, I mean, this whole thing, it's a hell of a freaking read, though. It is. It's a hell of a read. Here, while released, he sent his wife a threatening letter because he believed that she was cooperating with the government. She was granted an order of protection. He also provided to a friend 3 copies of wiretap interception so the friend could distribute the materials to others as directed by defendant. I mean, again, the shit that he did here. I don't know, when they talk about, victimization of women, what the fuck? What's up with this? Every bad thing that you can think of, these people, and he put it in a document. Bravo, because this makes all of it something that you can also bring up too. And there's more to bring up than this. But anyway, I digress. So in this, they put the fly on the wall transcript. This is Mr. Coop and Georgie, where they're talking. You can see it. I'll make sure that it all is collected on here. You can pause on each part. it's not a lot to look at there. But this is him. He's like, yeah, this proves a conspiracy because these random people over here, they said something that therefore. Oh, Lord. Then let's see. We have screenshots of, oh no, not a chat talking about Wallace there. Oh, look, here's some people saying hi. Let's see. There's somebody in the chat. Let's look at it. Here, give me a second. I'm gonna flip this, okay? Give me a minute. Let me pull this back up. Let me close this and then I'm gonna pull it back up. Give me a second. I'm gonna flip it over because it's meaningless. I was looking at it, I was like, wait a minute, what is this saying? So look at the screenshot that he uses here. All right. This just kind of, I don't know. It kind of blew my mind on it. I have snacks for Shadow. Hey, Erica, hugs. Hi, I have my favorites. I have been there. Hey, Georgie and Mr. Coop. I have looked over docs 114 and 115, and they look like repeats of last week. Wow, boy, that really shows the conspiracy, doesn't it? Holy crap. He really nailed that one down, I tell you. Wow, with proof like that, Lord, the world is burning. So then, again, he attaches the some of the transcript items, and that is 215. Now 216 is him again through this. This is him saying that his special appearance motion to strike plaintiff's ECF number 212, alternatively to require a corrected certificate of service and reset effect, because he's essentially saying, I need to be able to go after this yet again. It's funny. He needs a workaround no matter what. He's always trying to find an angle where he can go and get something again, where he can talk about it again, or he can do something to get it kicked, anything. He's never happy if he doesn't have the last word. That's what he's trying with this. So check this out. It's kind of interesting to see what he's doing here. So again, you know who he is, blah, 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 blah. He's talking about the certificates, the 7.1 B and C certificates. He's saying on June 17th, defendants sent written correspondence to plaintiff's counsel, Randall Shockin, identifying inaccurate certificate of service for ECF 212, requesting proof June 16th email service, and asking counsel to correct the service if it was inaccurate. Defendant requested one of the following: sent email transmitting 212 to him, an email header showing he did it, or blah, blah, blah. So he's like, give me all this crap. Plaintiff's counsel later forwarded the CMECF notice of electronic filing on a certain date. Defendant responded the same evening. Oh, well, the same evening from 9. So he gets a response at 9:33. He responds the same evening because he's up all the time because he has nothing else in his life at all. He has nothing. I mean, nothing else in life. What a pathetic existence that these people live. It is. Volman, at least you have a kid, man. I also, in this, is this the world you want your kid in? Really? Is this what you want? These are the people that you want your kid around? Because I wouldn't want my kids around people like this. And remember, this isn't just some random person on the internet, by the way. These are the actual people he is partnered up with. So when you look at it, it's not just, like I said, it's not just some random person. You run across a lot of random people online, and that's one thing. But this, it's next level. So anyway, he's talking, okay, so defendant responds, explaining that the forwarded item confirmed the issue rather than cured it because it expressly stated the notice would be mailed at USPS and would not be electronically mailed to him. He again requested, this is so funny. He's like, you need to mail me stuff unless it's service. Then you can't mail me stuff, but you need to mail me everything else. This guy is such a clown. Oh, he is. He's such an idiot. You better mail me everything, sir. Well, you better not mail me something that tries to serve me, though, because if you do, oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. That's somehow against the rules. Anything else, though? Anything else? That is that's so. Let's see. Plaintiff has not filed a corrected certificate for that. Oh man, 212. Isn't that the item that he wants to respond to? Give me a second. Let me check something real fast. God, there's a lot of these. I mean, with this 212, is that it? 212. Yeah. So 212. You know why he wants it stricken, by the way. That's the document he's complaining about. So let me put this into our little uproar. This is why he's trying to find a way. He can't answer this item, and he wants to essentially reset all of the. Here, let me show you. Give me 1 minute. This is why he's doing this. So he's butthurt. In this, this is Plaintiff Jeremy Hale's response in opposition to Paint Chips' motion to require plaintiff and counsel to show cause why sanctions, discipline, and other relief should not issue for repeated false factual representation about challenged video introduction. So Paint Chips wants to be able to respond to this. And he's trying to get the last word in numerous ways. See, he can't respond to it typically. So what he wants to do is he wants to either force the judge to let him have a limited reply, which he was shot down with before. Again, he's arguing with the judge with this because the judge has already been like, nah, you don't get that last word, you know, and he's never going to give him this. You know, he's not. So he's trying to go at it a different way and to say that the local rule, the certificate in there, that is somehow, it's defective. It's got issues. Therefore, he not only needs that kicked, but as he says through this, he wants this all to reset deadlines. So he's figuring if he can go after this and try to force an issue with this portion of it, he can either, number one, get it kicked, which means that he would get another chance. He wouldn't have to worry about it because it's already kicked to the curb. Or if it resets the effective deadlines, that means he gets to talk again. Oh, my God. You see what it is? It's all about having the last word. It's all about showing that effing judge, too, that he's in control. He is the boss in this courtroom, not the judge. That is definitely one way to handle things, I will say. It's definitely an interesting way to... like I said, it shows you what kind of people that you're dealing with, though. Now, I'm not going to read this whole motion, okay? We're going to jump through it a little bit, but I'm letting you, see exactly what all of this is about. As he's saying, oh, well, I hereby certify that electronically file the foregoing document with, I also certify that the foregoing document is being served on this day and all counsel record via email. Wait, let me make sure this doesn't have a freaking... Okay. I was trying to make sure it didn't have an email. Sorry. I wanted to make sure that he's terrible about including email addresses. So I wanted to make sure his email address was not on that part. He's like, my name was on that. That's inaccurate. I was not served with that by email. Later forwarded it that, but also on top of it with USPS. Well, if he sent it to me USPS, that date's not accurate either. Again, he's so desperate to have. Like, can you imagine living life like this? Can you imagine having to deal with a person like this? I'm not talking about in the courtroom. I'm talking about in life. Can you imagine having to? I don't know. Maybe some of you have dealt with people like this. You know, maybe you do know what it's like. But they definitely make your life difficult. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why certain people look miserable. Because when they have to deal with that. I mean, you can imagine again, you can imagine that those arguments that come up that blow up online, they're probably happening quite a bit. So it goes through, oh, this isn't just some harmless technicality. Oh, it matters. Service matters. It totally matters. But he tells you again, this is what he wants to knock out. It goes through too, it goes through why this is a problem, what he wants. Let me get down to the part. I don't want you to have to watch me scroll. Like I said, I don't want to bore you to death with this. Okay. I just want to skip down to showing you exactly what's in that. What the fudge? Give me a second. I'm going to check something real fast. Okay. I'm curious about something. Give me 1 minute. That's interesting. Just give me a second here. I'm looking at something real fast. Oh my God. That's a lovely signature. That's such a lovely signature. Paint chips. Let me get this back up here. I'll show you. I was making sure. So this is what he wants. All right. This is how you really break it down, what he's requesting. So he wants the striking of that document. Again, if it gets stricken, that means he doesn't have to respond to it. He doesn't like the fact that he didn't get to write 20 pages about how Randy was wrong yet again. So if it's stricken, then it's not there anymore. He can live with that, right? But if it's not stricken, then alternatively, requiring plaintiff and counsel to file a corrected certificate of service on that, deeming the ECF 212 served on defendant only as the date of actual service, resetting and extending any response. Notice this: resetting any response, reply, objection, or related deadlines. Directing counsel. Get on to counsel too. Get on to them. Granting defendant anything else there, and give me more. Okay, so that's what that is about. And I thought that was worth, again, I just want you to see the overall picture. And imagine you're the judge. Like, all of this matters as far as a judge, because the judge could go many ways. The judge could be like, hey, I want this asshole out of my court. I never want to see him again. I'm sick of it. Or the judge could be like, yo, This person right here. Yeah, I truly see why maybe a jury does need to see this, because this person, they are awful. They are absolutely awful. We'll see. We'll see with that. So then you have, on top of it, you have the motion. This is my favorite one, by the way. This is why. The reason this is my favorite is because you have to think of this, okay? You have to think that the judge, again, has already told him no on something like this. The judge has already said, nope, you cannot have this happen. So what does he do? He does it to another document. Again, his thing is, well, technically, judge, you only told me with that one. So he's going to do this to every single document. He's, again, this is one thing. I mean, you know, you can do a lot of things in a courtroom. There's certain things that doing them, yeah. And again, you know, all these idiots are applauding this behavior. They're like, this is the best. It's so great and fun and awesome. Like, man, you know who potentially suffers for this? Preston. I mean, ultimately, Preston is one of the, you think about it, Preston is somebody who might take lumps over it. And these people, they don't care. Like, none of them care. And that has been amazing to see. Like, out of anything, I think I've been more amused by the fact that Preston has no idea about the damages these people could potentially do to her. She just walks along while, again, she's threatening folks like family. She's okay with threatening them, but these people, they keep going. They keep doing awful. And what does she do about it? She doesn't complain about their behavior. Oh no. She complains about it sometimes, but she's too dumb right now. And, you know, John's right there, too. And John's also, I think John works against her sometimes, just to be honest. I think honestly, if she has a problem, then John may actually end up free. So, but anyway, so this is him. Oh, well, let's check this out. So you've seen blah, blah, blah here. He's asking for leave to file a short limited reply in response to plaintiff Jeremy V. Hale's response in opposition to defendant's motion to require plaintiff and counsel to show cause. He does not file or tender the right as the reply as a right. Defendant recognizes replies are not ordinarily permitted. It's the same thing that he tried last time. But you know what? This time, this judge is going to blow a fucking gasket, man, one day. Oh, Lord. And like I said, this is this judge's fault, ultimately, because this judge could stop this guy, but he's refused to. He's let him continue to clown his court, you know. But he's let the same judges threw a fit when Randy responded to some stuff from Bruce and said, oh my God, that they should have trusted that that they would handle things in the courtroom. Yeah, you've seen how this shit's been handled. They haven't stopped this madness yet. So, what do I know? But extraordinary circumstances exist because plaintiff's opposition does not merely respond to defendant's motion. It raises new procedural objections, recasts the challenged factual representation as a semantic dispute about manipulated media, and materially miscategorizes defendant's declaration as an admission that Exhibit A depicts plaintiff's likeness in a sexual scenario. A short, limited reply is necessary to correct those matters and focus the court on the dispositive factual issue. Plaintiff and counsel still identify no time. Again, he is arguing this without giving leave to argue it. He's still trying to fit his argument. He's still trying to poison the well. Like that in and of itself is a problem. For the courts to allow him to act like this, I mean, again, he's still doing his best to poison the well. The proposed limited reply will not re-argue defendant's opening motion. It will be confined to one: plaintiff's retreat from the literal factual assertion that Exhibit A depicts Hale's quote-unquote engaged in the oral with the journalist. 2, plaintiff's newly raised Rule 11 safe harbor and local Rule 7.1 procedural arguments. And 2, plaintiff's mischaracterization of defendant's declaration. This burns him right here. He's very mad about him noting. So in this is what really makes him mad. All right. So it's part of this argument here. I think this is it, right? Part of this argument is stating that Paint Chips himself, he kind of admits, yeah, that this thing, again, he's turned this into a semantic debate. Let me see. Give me 1 second. I'll find what he's so mad about. He's like, I've got to be able to. Oh, that's not what my words really mean. That's not what it is. Yeah, because he stated, here it is. Got it. This is what he's so mad about, and he needs to have the last word on this. He can't stand that Randy, Melody, has Jeremy ever met Megan face to face? I don't believe so. I don't believe she's gone to any. I don't believe there's been anything that she's gone to. I'm trying to think. Because there were certain things that DUI guy went to, but I don't think there's been anything that Megan had to require, that she actually went to. So, but here's the thing, with any of these people, it's not enough that you never met a person or anything else. See, in this, what they want is they kind of made it clear. Like Paint Chips made it pretty clear yesterday in his threats that what they're aiming for is to put this guy in an island and to punish anybody that doesn't denounce him. They said, Paint Chips was like, if he doesn't drop this, then he's going to punish everyone else, anybody out there in what he likes to call the Hale's verse, because they're trying to deflect from the old ecosystem that they admittedly have. It's so amazing. That's their desperation ploy. If they say something enough, they try to discredit a notion. Even though, again, that was their own word. It's weird when they don't want to own their own words, isn't it? But I digress on that. Anyway, he made it pretty clear, though. The idea is, again, to make sure that Jeremy Hale stands alone. If you don't denounce this guy, if he doesn't drop his stuff, then, again, these are pretty dumb things to say publicly. Pretty dumb. I made sure to grab that freaking broadcast for damn sure. Not just a transcript, but get the whole damn thing. Because, again, this isn't the first time he's done that either. He's made it clear that that's exactly what he plans on punishing anybody, you know. They plan on punishing, again, if a Megan or whomever, if we don't step away. And that's one of the things that, to be honest, that's one of the reasons I don't want to step away. I don't like being told what the fuck to do, you know. Like, nobody gets to tell me that, like for Jeremy Hales, I'm the one who decides that if I had a problem with a Jeremy Hales in any way, shape, or form, I'm the one who decides that I have a problem. You know, they don't get to decide that if I want to stick around, and again, what's wild about it is anybody who laughs at them, essentially, they want to punish. It's not just about punishing you for Jeremy Hales. It's about you laughing at them, you know? And I mean, you got to remember, like, no insult meant in this, okay? But when they focused on Jay, for example, who the fuck is Jay, you know? And like I said, I don't mean that in a rude way or anything. I'm just saying, like, why is somebody like Mr. Cooper, you know, you're talking about, like, you're not talking about monstrous size freaking YouTubers here or anything. You're just talking about people that they think you're an idiot and they make fun of you, and because they laugh at you and they laugh at your filings, and they don't, you know, they don't worship you like some of these other idiots do, then you have to pay for it. Isn't that interesting? So the statement constitutes an admission that the video, you see this here, this is the thing. So to the extent the plaintiff complains about edited, satirical, composite, manipulated, or otherwise altered media, that is not the same thing as an actual video depicting Hales engaging in the oral with a journalist. So this is his anger about it. He does not like that statement because it's using his own words, and he does not like the idea of somebody being able to use his own words against him. So he's like, I need to be able to respond to this now. I don't know. It's kind of funny because, again, you know, he's so mad about it. I kind of love that in its own way, though. I kind of love it because, well, he doesn't get the last word with it, you know? And he, like I said, he thinks he should. He absolutely thinks he should. That's why he's throwing this fit. For the reasons below, defendant respectfully requests leave. He wants to file a limited reply, not to exceed 3,200 words. Let me ask something with this, by the way. I'm curious about what that really reflects. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to ask how many legal pages in filings is 3,200 words? I'm just curious where that equals out to. I know you know, so typically that'd be 11 to 13 pages. He's like, I want to be able to come back and I want to file 11 to 13 more pages. Oh my God. I love this shit show so much. Oh, you know what? I'm proud of every one of you that sticks with this stuff. I realize, like, there are so many other shit shows that come up during all this too, and it's easy to be like, man. But you know what? I love this shit show. This shit show is so crazy, and at the end of the day, there's a real person underneath it all, and he's tried his best not to have to cover it. So I am happy to cover it. And these people, they, you know, again, every time they get mad, you know, when they fixate on a Megan or they fixate on myself, they're not fixating on Jeremy Hales. They're not fixating on Ashley. They're not fixating on all these other people. So it's maybe not even a day, but it buys people time and it buys them a little bit of peace. So I'm glad other people are along for this roller coaster ride. And it has been going on for a long time. I realize, and there is so much that comes up with it. I mean, these people shouldn't just, I'm surprised. Like they play the victim so much too. I'm surprised they don't just embrace their chaos, and admit, because I mean, they're nothing without this stuff. So they have to hold on to it. And the problem is that they will hold on to it from any means necessary. And that means going after people in some pretty horrible ways. Again, you see what they're doing now. They're filing IRS, FBI reports. They're going after bar licensing. The question you have to ask is, what can they do that's worse than that? And when you start thinking about that, that's where it gets scary. So I believe in giving them a little bit of their because they could be doing something worse. I mean, their escalation is pretty fucking crazy these days to begin with. So anyway, the local rule certificate. He complains about the local rule certificate. He's saying again, I should be able to do that. This is pretty short with this. So look at the breakdown for it. Pursuant to blah, blah, blah. Defendant certifies that he made a good faith. He attempted in good faith to resolve this issue before filing. Look at his good faith, by the way. On June 16th at 11:50, he emails Randy, pursuant to Local Rule 7.1, requesting plaintiff's consent for defendant to file a short limited reply not to exceed 5 pages. Defendant identified the three proposed reply issues and asked counsel to advise whether he consented. He didn't get an answer. So I think that's its own answer. But again, remember, he wrote him at 11:50 and he told him, if I don't get a reply within... Hey, I hear you on the steps. Give me a second. You almost here. Oh, yep.
Switch died while I was charging it.
What done?
My tail switch was on the cord and then it died.
Oh no! You didn't get it plugged up fast enough.
It was plugged up at 5%. Then it died because it was on the cord.
Yeah, were you playing it while it was on the cord?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. Because it was making it die faster than it was charging.
I do that with my phone.
I know, but I'm just saying that's what killed it. You didn't have it.
That's really check about Soda Tail Switch for the Backrooms game we're talking about.
I'll think about it.
I see that you playing Soda.
Yes, I play Zelda.
What are you doing?
What am I doing while I'm playing?
Yeah.
I'm picking items. I'm just goofing off. I'm going to play Breath of the Wild soon.
The Breath of the Wild that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get that cartridge from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will. I'll have to get it. That way I can plug it in and play with it.
Yeah. Should we check someday or today? What are you wearing?
What?
What are you wearing? And what are those things called again?
What am I wearing?
Yeah, in Zelda.
Oh, in Zelda. I've got my stealth outfit on right now. I had it on because I was sneaking around trying to grab stuff. But
what are those guys called? Like the little mask that you had on?
I can't think of what they're called. They're the Yiga. There's something clan. I can't.
Check on the mask again.
Yiga.
Check on the mask again.
Yiga. Maybe.
Check on the mask.
I don't know, but hey, go upstairs. Go.
See what the mask is called.
I'm in the middle of work here. Go. This mask? That's Majora's mask.
No, the other one that you were wearing.
I don't know. I'll look at it later, okay? I'll look at it later.
Okay.
Love you.
Can we see if there's any Backrooms games in my...
I'll think about it. I will think about it.
Yay!
All right. Go have fun. Love you. Love you. I am. I'm trying to have a great stream. Love you. That's so funny. Today, again, she'd saved up money. She'd been doing work, which is, she absolutely hates to clean. So she actually did some cleaning, and she'd saved up almost $40 between she had a tooth fairy thing, some cleaning, the sister thing, where she was messing with Sissy. So between it all, she ended up with like $40. So she bought her a couple of new games, but she's on a video game kick right this minute. I have to say, I kind of like it. We do play video games together. So I don't play this one. I only play when I live stream, funny enough. But the other Zelda game that we have, she likes to play Breath of the Wild. I play with her. So, but she got a new game today. So anyway, so off this again, like I was saying, he knows that his good faith attempt to confer, he doesn't note how long his good faith attempt was. Again, if you look at it, it's very telling because the way he frames it versus, again, the idea of him with good faith. He writes, like he said, at almost midnight. And he tells him that he wants a response by the close of business the next day. So again, he doesn't really want to. He's like, well, I haven't received a response since blah, blah, blah. I mean, really, you can tell he's not going to get a response like that. Unless it's something that has to happen. Like, again, that's not good faith. It's funny because these are the same people that whine and complain about, with the when it goes to anything else, like any of the other cases, they want to max out time. They want to make it like the bankruptcy. It's all about wasting time and eating the clock, as it were, But in this, it's about not even giving up 12 hours. So it's really telling, when you compare and contrast what these folks do. I mean, they tell you who and what they are and what they're doing. Justice is a game, and yes, I'm stunned sometimes by who some of these people think they're good guys. Again, they are totally okay with some very bad people. Some very bad people that brag about it, by the way. Again, he was bragging about his criminal history and this stuff. And these folks are too dumb to realize that every one of them, they could be a mark for these folks, dude. Like, they wouldn't think twice about fucking them over. They wouldn't even think twice. But, they would in fact be the same type of idiots that that would have been victims for them in the past. But again, these are people that they profess that they care about guardianship, and yet you saw the thing with the blind man. They care about women, women and female victims, and yet you look at you imagine the woman who had to get a protective order from him because he thought she was narking. And of course, he'll blame that all on mental health issues. Mental health issues, indeed. Not taking responsibility. That is not responsibility for any of your actions. Blaming that. So anyway, let's go back to where we were. Sorry. For memorandum law, he's like, hey, this permits a reply. Local 7.1 permits a reply in extraordinary circumstances. I love, again, all the legal wormery. That's what it is. It's wormery. because he squirms and squirms. 7.1 provides that a party ordinarily may not file a reply memorandum in support of a motion except in support of a summary judgment motion under 56(1)(d). But the rule also provides that in extraordinary circumstances, the court may grant leave to file a reply memorandum in support of another motion. The rule limits any reply memorandum 3,200 words unless the court sets it higher and requires the party to obtain leave before tendering the reply. Defendant seeks narrow relief that fits that. I don't want very much. He does not seek an unauthorized second bite at the apple. Right. Sure you don't. He doesn't want another bite at the apple. He just wants another nibble on the apple. Oh my God, paint chips. It's funny and dumb. Let me nibble the apple. I don't want to bite it. He seeks leave to address new procedural objections and factual recastings that appeared in plaintiff's opposition and that materially affect the court's evaluation of the show cause motion. Again, I don't want that. I just want that. Extraordinary circumstances exist because plaintiff's opposition, how it recasts the dispute, does not defend the literal factual assertion at issue. Defendant's motion challenged a specific factual representation. Plaintiff and counsel represented at the court that the challenge video depicts Jeremy Hale engaging in the oral with a journalist. The motion did not ask the court to decide every possible issue involving digitally manipulated imagery, deepfake, satire, parody, defamation, and the ultimate scope of da-da-da. It was narrower and more concrete. Whether plaintiff and counsel may repeatedly present as a fact that the actual video depicts Hale's engaging in the oral with a journalist when the video does not do so. Oh, you know that's what you're doing there. He's like, you didn't actually show that person going down, therefore they went down. It just doesn't show, well, it doesn't show the certain things I'm not going to be able to say on here. I wouldn't want to say on someone I know either. But you see the game. It reminds me of Bruce. Remember the Bruce game that Bruce tried to play? These scumbags, they all play this same game. You know? They all play it. It's all the same game. But it was the same thing with them posting about Hale's being a predator. They were like, it's like, show me this exact word. You're like, well, here's them talking about him. No, it's not this exact word. It's like, yep, okay. We'll see. That's something you don't want to get to a jury, especially if that jury's got women in it, you know, which it will. Because I'm sure when the ladies see that, he wants it shut down well before that, because if he gets to that point, that's a real problem. I mean, that's a real problem, you know, for him. Oh, what a bunch of idiots here. So, plaintiff's opposition does not solve that problem. It reframes the dispute as one about digitally manipulated video content, manipulated imagery, semantic dispute, common usage. But look, he's arguing this. What's fucked about this is he's still filing the thing that he asked about. He's already filing it. You know what I mean? He's already put his argument on the docket. That's what this is. Now, I'm sure, again, the judge has already told him no before. But look, he's skipping the middleman, and he's already making his argument. That's what this is, see? That's what this is right here. That reframing confirms why a limited reply is needed. If plaintiff contends this challenge sentence is literally true, plaintiff should be able to identify a timestamp, frame, or portion of Exhibit A that depicts Hale's actually engaging in with the journalist. He's like, it's not descriptive enough. Ladies out there, remember, these are the kind of people that will seek to move against you and try to, again, this is the kind of stuff that these people know is a problem. Remember, Ray was the perfect example. Ray threw a shit fit when he thought that this could happen to somebody that he cares about. When it's not some horrible Megan Fox, when it's actually somebody that he gives a shit about, then it's a problem. If it were somebody he cares about, though, that's different. That's absolutely different. But so, if the plaintiff does not contend the statement is literally true, then the issue is not merely legal characterization. It is whether a factual assertion presented to the court should be corrected. A short reply is warranted to focus the court on that distinction. See, he's arguing again. Look at this. He argues his point, and then he argues why he should get that. But again, look at how he's arguing this stuff. It's so crazy. Extraordinary circumstances exist because plaintiff raises new procedural arguments. Plaintiff's opposition also raises procedural arguments who are not at the core subject of defendant's opening motion. Plaintiff argues the defendant failed to provide adequate local 7.1 conferral, attempted to circumvent Rule 11 21-day safe harbor, and filed prematurely during the active motion practice. The limited reply is needed because those arguments misstate the nature. Again, I got to have the last word, baby. I've got to have the last word on this, too. Defendant did not file a party-initiated 11C2 motion seeking immediate sanctions. Defendant requested that the court require plaintiff counsel to show cause. Rule 11 expressly distinguishes between party-filed sanction motions, again, noting Federal Rule of Civil Procedure, 11C2, and court-initiated order to show cause. The 11th Circuit recognizes the distinction. Plaintiff's opposition attempts to convert defendant's request for a court-initiated show cause into a defective 11C2 sanctions motion. Wait, what? Exhibit A. Oh, there's a thumb drive, huh? So, oh, my bad. There's an exhibit. I was like, where's Exhibit A in the original application? All right. So Exhibit A he's been talking about, he actually included a thumb drive too. Exhibit A is a thumb drive containing the public digital media file identified in the operative pleading. Yeah. I wonder. I'd love to see the item there to see exactly what is or isn't included. That might be interesting to look at. It's going to be interesting to see again how far he can take this with the court and see if they pisses him off. So extraordinary circumstances exist because plaintiff mischaracterizes defendant's declaration as an admission. This is where he's so mad about this. Well, like, you can feel it here. So plaintiff's opposition further asserts the defendant admits the edited, satirical, composite, manipulated or otherwise altered media, and then builds from alleged admission to claim defendant does not deny that the video shows plaintiff's likeness in a sexual scenario. That is not what defendant declared. Defendant declared a declaration used conditional language. To the extent plaintiff complains about that is not the same thing as. The conditional formulation is not an admission that it depicts him in the sexual. It's a description of plaintiff's theory. And again, he's arguing. He's making his argument here. Oh, Lord. He's like, oh, I should get to be able to. A limited reply. The proposed reply would be short, limited, and useful. As opposed to his normal filings, this one might actually be useful to the court, he says. Oh my God. Oh, Lordy. What a clown show. Holy shit. I love this case. It's so dumb. It will be useful, I swear to God. The defendant seeks leave to file a reply not exceeding 3,200 words. The proposed reply will not expand the motion, introduce new claims, or re-argue every issue. Sure. It'll only address 3 points. 3 points. No timestamp, frame, portion, etc. Rule 11. Well, you know what's funny about this right here? Did you provide Exhibit A? Are you all agreeing on the exhibit? Because again, it's funny. He's saying you have to argue this, you have to do this, or you have to do that. And it's funny because when he's doing this, if I point out a time stamp on something, he'd be working on my freaking exhibit of this, not something that he manufactured out of what? Out of his butt. I mean, who knows where this came from, and if it actually is the item that they're talking about contending. It's so funny though to see him. He really does not like Randy Evan Lesser, and I love it. I kind of love it because it makes him so mad that this judge has not given him what he wants. Like, at one time I thought this is about nuisance filings and stuff, but this isn't. This is about ego right here. This is 100% just about fucking ego. I gotta be able to have that last word, baby. How dare? I mean, again, he wanted to bring sanctions. He wants to force show cause, and he didn't like the answer that he ended up getting from opposition. That's so funny. So the Rule 11 safe harbor argument is misplaced because defendants sought a court-initiated show cause, not an immediate party rule, blah, blah, who cares? And plaintiff mischaracterization of his words. This is the real issue. This one right here. He's like, you made me sound like a fool, and I'm only the fool for myself. So for those reasons, he says, he should get to file a new item, which, again, this is yet, like I said, it's yet another attempt to force the courts to do something they have already said no to. He doesn't get to just file. And he thinks he should. He thinks he's special. That unlike anyone else, he doesn't have to play by the same rules. And I mean, he's making that clear. Like, the rules do not apply to me the same way that they apply to everyone else. And again, when he runs into problems, he's like, hey, actually, you know what? I'm a mental midget. You can't hold me responsible because people call me paint chips. I mean, why would you sue a guy named Paint Chips? Oh my God. The buffoonery. Again, like I said, there's a distinction to be drawn to. Like if this were just internet bullshit, that's one thing. These people, though, they would have a real problem if somebody went after their ability to do what they do. So they'd have a real fucking problem with it. But they all were totally down with trying to take out somebody else's ability to have a business. It was okay when they did it. You know, they're all okay with that because, again, Hales, for whatever, again, you could hate Hales. That doesn't change the fact that contacting business, trying to take out his freaking sponsorship, it's all, again, it's clown car. Anyway, let's hit some super chats. I swear, I think I'll shield tomorrow. I haven't really wanted to shield today. I didn't shield very hard today. I just wanted to laugh at these stupid people. To be honest, these folks, they amaze me some days. I'll probably look at the helm thing too and see what's there as well. I am curious about that. Oh yeah, John, not J Hip, Otter Creek related, but please look up Gingris's law page. I looked at it before. Is it his journal? Is that what we're looking at? Let me look it up real quick. Gingris law.com. This is oh, I see that it's doomed. Oh wow. That's wild. Wow, that's interesting. So Gingras, Laura Owens Gingras. This is wow, that's very interesting. So after 2 decades in Phoenix, Gingris's law office is permanently closed, effective July 1st, 2026. David is moving forward with new adventures and starting a new chapter outside of Arizona. He is deeply thankful for the chance to help so many people over the years. Although David is no longer practicing law, he's happy to answer questions regarding past legal matters. Holy shit, that's amazing. David. The tramp stamp lawyer. That's a crazy one. Oh, that guy, man. What a freaking train wreck. These people, I mean, there's so many of them that are absolute train wrecks, though. You notice it's not limited to 1 or 2 of them. Like, you have an army of these people that are they're absolute freaking loons, All right, Ruth. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships there. Thank you, Ruth. That is awesome and much appreciated. I love it. I saw those drop in. Thank you right off the bat. That was awesome. Max Lab, thank you for the super chat. Also, thank you for sending over that document. Like I said, I'll look it over. I'm going to see what the arguments are to it and everything. Tomorrow, we're going to get into some, let's see. Do I want to do it tomorrow? I have to think about it. It's either tomorrow or Sunday. I'm going to do the Lynette Preston, the rest of the videos that are out there exposing from Ashley, because I want to be prepped and remember what all she said. That way, come Friday next week, I'll actually be situated. And if any of you think of some questions that you want on there, think about what you want to ask too, And I think, to be honest, maybe Sunday would be a better day for that, because then it would give you a couple of days to think about questions, and we could talk about that Sunday, Maybe we could actually work that in, discuss it. But thank you, Max Lett. Thank you for sending that. Which my 4 sons. I like that spelling, by the way. It's cool. Thank you for the gifted membership there too. It's good. I like names. Like I can figure out what in my limited scope. Some days I like that. I like creative, fun names, but also, I like where I can kind of figure it out on my own too. Love it. Thank you there. Stacy, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships there. Thank you, Stacy. Man, that is awesome. And Very much appreciate it. You folks. I can't say that enough. I do appreciate you all. We we've been covering this madness for a hot minute. It keeps well, one of the things that's kind of crazy to watch about it, and it's kind of alarming in its own way too. They've had a lot of drop off from the people that are now around. And the people that are still there are, a lot of them are the crazier, culty types that have been, like these are the true blue will not listen to anything folks if they've been around. And there's some pretty awful folks that are still there. So just crazy. I think it's going to get nuttier. Tats, thank you for the 18 months. Fun times, indeed. Heck yeah. Roy, I agree. Yeah, P.T. Barnum, he wants that circus back, baby. That's right. Max Lapto, thank you for sending that. And for the, I'm not surprised. Like you were going to get, he was the only one that filed a document that, like we said, his approach, number one, he picked up a lawyer. Number two, you have to have a specific approach in order to try to reclaim funds. Now, we'll see again what is stated about that, and we'll see if they consider that number fair. But it's funny because all these other people, they're like, oh, we were going to get, no, you have to go about it a certain way. And one of those ways would have been to get a lawyer. You would have had to, again, you had to make the right argument. It's just interesting. I'm surprised Bruce's lawyer, they didn't try to go the anti-slap method. Like again, with Helm's lawyer, said right from go, that would have been an approach I took. I'd have gone anti-slap 100%. That'd be an argument. That is an argument. There are a few arguments that are just, I call them the basics. There are a few other arguments, by the way, that are basic arguments too. And I don't really understand why some of these idiots, they maybe they don't have a lawyer, but why does nobody advise any of them on a proper method to go about it? And again, I don't understand why Bruce's lawyer didn't try that approach, because again, there are approaches that will be, if like if 2L files some fraudulent shit, that'd be the same thing I'd do with her for sure. Not only that, but I would countersue the shit out of her for that. She's been trying to get that filing money on Megalodonus Foe for a hot minute too. Just why again, that's just for the $400 dues. I mean, you got to set up all the other money too. Oh, what a bunch of idiots! I swear. Maria, is that Maria Moran? Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships, by the way. It's Maria. What am I saying? Thank you. I very much appreciate it. I like to get people's names right. I confuse myself on basic names. It's so bad. It's bad when I can't, like I said, I can't get a Ria Raya name right. But I appreciate that. Thank you. Hey, what's up, Becky? Let's see. Becky, thanks for the 16 months. At this point, I'm not sure who's worse at this. Paint chips or lips? I think lips is. I think lips absolutely is. Because paint chips, he knows what he's doing. Paint Chips is a nuisance filer. He tries to run up money. He pushes the court as far as the court will let him push. So, the court is responsible. Like Lips comes across as just mentally unhinged with a bunch of the stuff that she does. At least with Paint Chips' stuff. Like you can follow what he's trying to accomplish with it. With her, half the time I'm like, what in the world is she's copying and pasting. I mean, anybody that's watching that has to look at it and be like, what in the world, But like I said, at least Paint Chips, if I were going to say anything with it, he's trying to take exactly what they'll let him take. I think what he's doing is shitty, but I think it's a reflection on the environment. Sometimes if they want some different outcome, they have to demand a different outcome, I suppose you could say. It's very annoying that they've allowed it to go this way too. What's up, Jay? Thanks for the 5. Sorry I'm late for the stream, Tug. Did you wait for me? Did you? Oh man, I had just started too, Jay. Sorry, dude. I just saw your name. I know, it's terrible. Terrible. I was gonna have him on as my co-host, since Megan's gone. But I guess he overslept. That happens sometimes. It happens. Yeah, I waited. That's why I was late 5 minutes, but you know how that goes, man. Hey, what's up, Kitty Ninja? Happy birthday, long time here, Mark. What's up, Mark? What's up, Tug? Jewel, the list is now showing on fan funding. Donor name and Jewel gifted. Oh, wait, it's showing Jewel's giver list is now showing on fan funding. It shows donor name and write me about that. I'm not sure what you mean, because I would like to be able to pull that list there for sure, and be able to shout out all of the Jewel folks. Oh yeah, let me know. Well, I'm gonna give this too.
Happy birthday.
That's right.
From both of us to you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
May all your dreams come true. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
We love to have you here. Happy birthday.
Happy.
Here's to another year.
That's right. Man, I appreciate that. Love you guys. Mark, I hope you have had a great birthday, by the way. Again, if for some reason you need to throw it back, there's any type of issue with it, you can do that too. Remember, we always accept do-overs for birthdays if we have to have them. Let me check something real quick. All right, I think I'm good. So, oh man, I've been playing too. Like I decided I was going to try to put some music to fire. Check this out. I haven't finished playing with it yet, but look, I'll show you this real quick on our way out. I haven't gotten it all yet, but I've been playing with my song NUKES, and I've been putting me a little bit of video itch. Here, let's check this out. I'm trying to get the fire right. It's not a, 1 second. Let me make sure this ain't hellishly loud. One second. Yeah, there it goes. All right. Check this. I've been playing with, man, why did it do that? Give me a second. I'll try it again. It locked it in on the recovery tab. Give me a second. That didn't help anything. Crap, it did it again. Fucking piece of garbage. Give me a second here. This started to piss me off. The for some reason, this has been doing this stupid thing over and over again. I'm trying to fix it. Let's see if that works. God, if it does it again, I'm going to be mad. There we go. Finally. I was like, Lord, it keeps locking in on the Dropbox recovery email thing, which doesn't really show you anything, but it's still annoying. I've been playing with music videos. I thought it'd be fun to roll some fire across something, but apparently, AI. I'm trying to work on the speed with it, and it's still lagging it out.
Said we'd never be done. We never give up. And all of the damage and blood.
I only got about 30 seconds for the fire.
Now I'm dying for fun. And we burn together. You buried me and you laughed. Now I'm laughing too. Don't you wanna burn together?
I figure it'd be nice to burning house, burning stuff.
We never were.
Get some fire angles in here. I think it'll be good.
Now I see what you've done, but never for me. The taste of your tongue, the smiles for free. After all of the pain and the sleepless nights, the gasoline matches those shades in your eyes. Don't you wanna burn together? You said the summers last forever. I watch the flames, I laugh as it crawls. We'll burn together.
That should be fun. With a lot of gasoline. Fire effects. It gives me a reason to put fire effects in a video. I think it'll be fun. I like that. I think it's a good song. Man, I've got about 20 decent ones. I got on this mainstream kick, It's like I don't want to make like a themed channel song. I just want to make some songs that aren't theme channel. And it's funny because some of them actually came out all right. So I like that. I figure we'll make some fire after that. Video disappeared for it. Yeah, well, it's not finished. No, it just cuts out about 30 seconds in, But yeah, I like that kind of music too. That's a mix of, what is it called? Drift funk, PHONK. I think that's the label for it. A mix of that, trap music, and I found with newer types of music, you can actually, or rather the new AI music creators, their types, you can actually get to the point that you can fuse weird styles. Like you can take sea shanties and mix them into electronic music, and the weird, like the glitch funk kind of songs. So they come up with some weird music. You can come up with some pretty interesting stuff. I like it. I like where it's come from, and it's really funny because you can chart the development of AI music makers through this case. Because the first music makers, like one of the very first songs that we made with that was the like Suno 1. And now you're at a Suno 5.5. So it's come a long ways. And you can tell when you go back and you listen to some songs, they are rough before. And now if you listen with headphones on, especially, you can tell the difference. But anyway. That's a crap for another day, I suppose. I love playing with the music makers. So anybody out there that's interested in that kind of stuff, I mean, it is the time to play with it. the music makers now, you don't have to, like when you prompt them, you can prompt them like you would a basic AI. So you don't have to prompt them in like 808 drums and this and that. You can prompt them in what you're trying to accomplish with it. It's interesting stuff, and it keeps me. That's the one AI thing that I really like. I hate that we well, we have to give up for AI, but it ain't going away. So might as well have fun with it. But anyway, I'm going to end here. I appreciate you folks. Oh, by the way, 2-Bit, I see that. Thank you. Thank you for being here for a year. That's awesome, 2-Bit. And much appreciated. Thank you, that. But I'm going to end, and I appreciate you all. We'll be back to the party tomorrow. Thank you.